Hey everyone, Adam Hughes here. Hope you're doing great, having a great week. Greg asked me if I would take some time and share a devotion with you all for this month's meeting, so I wanted to take a few minutes and do that. I'm a huge baseball fan. I love sports in general, but right now the World Series is going on. Go Braves! And anyway, I'm hoping for a Braves to pull it out. I've been waiting since 1999 on this, so I'm excited about this series going on right now. But anyway, let me get past that. I wanted to. I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I know time is precious with work and family, so I want to make sure I make the most of our time. If you've been around the kingdom for any amount of time, I'm sure that you're familiar with the story of the prodigal son. And so I'm not going to take the time to read all of that to you, but let me just kind of set the stage just so that you understand where we're going. The story of the prodigal son, this dad has two sons. And they're obviously both different from what we see happening here. I'm a dad of two daughters, and my kids couldn't be more different if they tried. My oldest daughter has been the easiest, obedient child to raise. She's very calm, cool, and collected. She loves a book and a couch. She loves chocolate. You know, Rarely do we ever have to tell her anything twice. She's just been just an easy kid to raise. Then my 8-year-old, she's been our rebel. She's been our does everything you tell her not to do twice while looking at you while she does it. She hates chocolate, unlike my oldest child. She loves fruit. My oldest child, she didn't sleep through the night, or my oldest child slept through the night starting at week 3 in her own crib. My youngest one didn't sleep through the night the first time until 6 months. So they're just both very different. And I think that's what we see here with these two kids. So again, setting the stage, these guys are working for their dad, and his youngest son comes to his dad and says, "Hey, I want my inheritance, and I want it now." And so the dad gives it to him. He takes it, he runs off with it, and he lives a luxurious party lifestyle. And basically, before long, all the money's gone. And not only does he find himself broke, but he finds himself homeless, and he finds himself without any food. And so we see that he's eating out of the troughs of pigs. And if you've ever been around that, when I was in middle school, I was in Future Farmers of America. I grew up in the country. We did a lot of dairy judging, and we were around pigs and things like that. And man, that's some nasty stuff. But so his son is in this place, and the only thing he knows to do at this point is to suck up his pride and go home. And so that's what he does. And when he gets there, his dad is waiting with open arms to embrace his son. I can't imagine the emotions he must have felt. He embraces his son. He wraps the finest robe around his shoulders. He puts a ring on his finger. He calls for his servants to get the fatted calf. They're having a party like no other. This kid might have partied before, but he didn't have no party like he's having now. And anyway, we get to all of this, and they're celebrating that he's home. And then the older son enters the picture, and that's where I kind of want us to pick up. And it's in Luke chapter 15, verse 25. Meanwhile, the older son was in the fields working. When he returned home, he heard music and dancing in the house, and he asked one of the servants what was going on. "Your brother is back," he was told, "and your father has killed the fattened calf. We are celebrating because of his safe return." The older brother was angry and wouldn't go in. His father came out and begged him, but he replied, "All these years I've slaved for you and never once refused to do a single thing you've told me to. And in all that time you've never gave me even one young goat for a feast with my friends. Yet when this son of yours comes back after squandering your money on prostitutes, you celebrate by killing the fattened calf." His father said to him, "Look, dear son, you have always stayed by me, and everything I have is yours. We have to celebrate this happy day, for your brother was dead and has come back to life. He was lost, but now he is found." Look, so the brother has gone off, done his thing. He's home. They're celebrating. He's home, and the older brother just did not respond the way I probably anybody expected. I'm assuming, the father would probably have assumed that he would celebrate that his brother's home, but that's just not his response. And so this particular passage of scripture, it's known as the prodigal son because the younger son's actions and taking the inheritance, blowing it all, coming back home. But I think in essence, what we see there's two prodigals in this story. And I say that because the older son, he may have done everything his dad asked him to do for years, and he may have slaved and never asked for anything in return. But in this moment, the words that are coming out of his heart or out of his mouth show the condition of his heart. And so what we see is this brother is as much a prodigal as his younger brother. He may not have lived physically the way his younger brother lived, but the reality is there's no grace, there's no celebration, there's no joy, there's all of that's missing. And so both of these brothers are broken. Both of these brothers are in essence prodigals. And so a lot of times we look at people in our life who have gone astray, as we'll use those biblical terms, and we think those, and then they come back and those are prodigals, but really there's a lot of people who they get it right here, but they miss it here. This older brother, he got it right here. He knew all the things that he should have done for his dad. He slaved away. He's never asked for anything, but in the moment when he should have been celebrating and excited, he missed it here. And so it was, we see this moment where we don't just have one prodigal. We have two prodigals, and so we know people that are like that. I once heard Francis Chan say that he believed that there's an entire generation of senior adults that were dying and were going to die and go to hell because we taught them when to be at church. We taught them when to bring a casserole dish for a meal. We taught them when to throw money in the offering plate. We've said that this is the right way. This is a style of music, or all these different things. And then he was naming off all these things. But they missed out on the grace. They got it here, but they missed it here. And because of that, they missed out on the most important part, and that was Jesus. And so what we see is the picture of this prodigal is and this father, and the father is the one where we see the picture of who Jesus is, because he's embracing his younger son who's coming home, and he's embracing his older son who doesn't respond the way that he thought he was going to respond. And in both instances, the father is saying, I love you and I want you and you are my son, and there's no place you couldn't go, or no places you could go that you couldn't return home from. And he's trying to get his older son to understand that, look, you've been with me, and you're right. You've done all these things, and everything I have is yours. But both of these guys, again, they're in the same place, and so the older brother, again, he's missing this piece. The average distance, I keep pointing here and here. I don't know if you know this, but the average distance between the human brain and the human heart is 18 inches. And so a lot of people, they get it right here, but they miss it here. And so for like students that were in FCA, when they go to school, do they think about what they shouldn't be doing or what they should be doing? Because really, believers, we should be known for what we're doing, more about what we are doing rather than being known for what we aren't doing. I feel like a lot of times Christians, we're known for what we don't do versus what we do. So what are we telling our coaches? What are we telling our kids? What are we telling our spouses? What are we telling our children, about how they're supposed to live? There's a father ready and willing to embrace them. But the thing is, like, it's got to make it past here. It's got to make it from the 18 inches from here down to here. And at the end of the day, that father and his welcome committee is going to be there ready with open arms to receive us. They say this, that heaven celebrates every time one comes to God. And so when they get it right in their heart. And so we need to pray for our parents and for our students and for our coaches that they don't just get it here, that they get it here and know that there's a team. Our board, Greg, Cameron, Kendrick, all these different people, whether it be South, North, I know this is a South board, but the reality is we're on the same team, and we're going to be there ready and waiting and excited to embrace them, when they come home, when they get to know Jesus, and when it makes it more from head knowledge to a heart, into a reality, to a relationship with Jesus. In August of 2018, there was a game, the Chicago Cubs were playing that night, and they were down to the Washington Nationals 3-0 in August of 2018. David Bodie comes up to the plate. The bases are loaded, and he, he's the last grace. He's the last one that's going to be able to do anything. There's 2 outs. Bases are loaded. Again, they're down 3-0 to the Washington Nationals. This is their last chance. And David Bodie hits a grand slam to send in the 3 runners that are on base, and then himself making it 4-3 to top the Washington Nationals in that game. I've got a picture I want to show you. It may be harder to see on here. I hope you can see it. But this is David Bodie as he's coming around third base, coming home, and his team is waiting to welcome him and to celebrate with him when he makes it to home. And that is a modern day picture of exactly what it is for us and for these students and for these coaches. And so that these huddles reach these kids, and that they know there is a team of people ready and waiting at home, and there's a Father in heaven waiting at home, ready to celebrate with them. And so we have to set the standard. The board, adults, spouses, parents, we can't expect our kids to get it. We can't expect these kids to get it if we don't get it. So my prayer for us is that as we take a look at our life and our walk with Jesus, is that everything we know would be more than just head knowledge. It would be here. It would be heart. It would be the reality that just like these two sons, there's no life that can go too far. There's no person that can sin too much that they can't be redeemed. Every human being can be redeemed. That's what Jesus died for. And so I pray today that all of us will know that we can be like that Father, ready and willing to stand open arms, just like this team was for David Bodie, for the Chicago Cubs, and we can make a difference. And we can help people see it's not about just about what you don't do or about what you do. It's about helping that head knowledge transition into heart knowledge. And that's when real transformation takes place. That's where real evangelism takes place. That's where huddles explode. That's where coaches' ability to minister to their players explodes. Let's be like that dad. And let's equip our spouses. Let's equip our own kids. Let's equip our coaches, and let's equip our athletes to be able to do this very thing and to love on their kids so we can tell them when you're rounding third, we're going to be waiting at home. Hope you have a great week. I'll see you at the meeting.